For instance, the first conclusion is that from the different viewpoints and work spheres, the speakers recognize the existence of much information on water resources, but they have also pinpointed concrete issues. It's important to have a greater coordination in the definition of the information that is needed, compiling and gathering the information, and disseminating and disclosing that information. The other issue here is that in regard to the specification and determination of this information that is needed, we need to have an involvement, an active involvement of all the different actors, not only in regard to requesting information, but also become involved in the process of the definition of the objects, of the goals, so that the information that is produced has already a target for specific users. And we see that the process for the production of information in regard to water resources needs a great technological platform that is highly complex, that have been scaled and upgraded in time, and the efforts for the production of data will always be associated to the targets that will be established in regard to the issues. The institutional value of the information resides in its potential transformation into a resource that will transform the decision-making processes. Of course, the information that is being produced is going to be useful as long as it enables the decision-making processes and the creation of policies. The governance of water is quite complex and requires interinstitutional efforts that not only incorporates technological aspects. We need to identify cross-section issues such as ecosystems, economic factors, social factors, and also to determine the type and the characteristics of the information, the statistics information that the country needs to produce. We also presented some developments in the exploitation, in regard to the exploitation of the water networks and the urgent need to harmonize the meteorological information produced by the different state units. We know that there are many different meteorological networks, each one with the goals and specific targets. But there's no doubt that we must find a way, we must find a common denominator that will be useful to everyone, and so that everybody has what they need. And we also incorporated the archaeological and historical perspective to help find the new solutions for the management of water. We addressed the topic on the availability of information from the viewpoint of the academia, underscoring the importance of its regulations, periodicity, and spatial resolution. Now, in this regard, I would like to refer to National System for Statistical and Geographical Information, INEGI, which is responsible for coordinating INEGI. It's on the INEGI, but it coordinates INEGI. To produce the information is important. That is clear to us, so that we all use information that is consistent, that is congruent, that we can have comparisons, establish comparisons between surveys. If we have congruent information, that we also have consistent information in all the different sectors. In this regard, the National System for Geographical and Statistical Information supports us in that. You analyzed the detail on the issue of the water supplies in the Valley of Mexico, and because my conclusions address the different sessions, it's important to have a liaison between the different government agencies. I go back to the National Information System, and we need information for the demand and supply of water, adaptation to hydrometeorological events that are extreme, to improve the quality of the information, to document the availability of drinking water and sanitation. And once again, the INEGI, the National System for Geographical and Statistical Information, is working in producing information, providing information on these topics, and the surveys that are being carried out, the modules that are being added to the questionnaires of the census, of the different inquiries, the different surveys are being disclosed, and that's when the different users can provide and contribute with suggestions. Of course, we cannot always please everyone, but at least we can have an opinion from the interested users and interested stakeholders, analyze several temporal, sectorial, and temporary sectorial dimensions and spatial dimensions with the following attributes: pertinence, reliability, consent, integrated, standardized, and with equivalent quality. So this is also in regard to the topic of the congruence, comparability between the information that is provided in different institutions. We need to overcome technical, economic, legal, institutional barriers. Oh, let's dance. And we also presented the assessment of the water footprint for the private, public sector, regions and nations, calculation on blue and green water that present a challenge in the recap of the statistics for the calculation. The water footprint allows for decision-making processes based on the efficient management of water and as a liaison between the production and sustainable use. There was interest to see how the water footprint considers the electric power and the treatment of water, includes it in the calculation of the footprint, and this is currently not part of the methodology. It would be wishful to have it. Then the relevance of socializing these data, and we suggested prudence in providing the consumer only the data on the blue water, because this enables to improve the management of water, but it could have an influence in the commerce and the production of goods that could represent high water consumption levels, but with benefits, environmental, economic, and social benefits. Nevertheless. And it's also very important, and I already highlighted that the link between the official information and the academia. The academia is not only a highly specialized user of the information, it's also a producer of information, very important producer, whose data are not always accessible to the official agencies that could enrich the analysis and the public service. This would urge these scholars to share the results of their work and their queries so that they are useful, more useful, and to associate the results of the researchers to define the information priorities at a national level. And another comment that I would like to add, that's from the INEGI. I don't know if all of you know that there's a sector fund, the CONACYT, where we present, we have claims for research that can be supported, backed up by the fund and we will have an open call for the next projects and next research works. So maybe through your institutions you can disclose ideas on the possible topics that can be developed in regard to water management and in regard to the sector fund INEGI CONACYT, because these are fellowships, very important fellowships. The other matter here is to invite you, to urge you to send written articles to be published in the magazine, in the INEGI magazine called Reality Space Data. This is a magazine which delves into topics regarding the activities of the INEGI, but not exclusively. Our activities and the topics on water have been included, and they will be welcome. In the INEGI page, you will be able to find references to referrals to this publication. And on the other hand, some of the papers that were presented during this seminar will be included in this magazine. And lastly, I have the figures. I overspoke already. I have the figures on the event. From the academic sector, we had 106 people who registered. From the private sector, 9 people. From the public sector, 68. And representatives from National Statistics Office from Central American countries, 5. ONGs, 2, a total of 190 people, and basically that answers. That's it for my conclusions and final information on the event. Thank you. Dr. Enrique de Alba, Vice Chair for INEGI, Dr. Gerardo Leiva, Deputy Director, Research Director for INEGI, dear friends, on behalf of Dr. Enrique Fernández Fassnacht, Rector for the UAM, I thank you for your participation and attendance to this international seminar, Geographic and Statistical Information for the Best Management of Water in Mexico. It has been a pleasure today and during this day and a half of work at the General Deanship to have the attendance of over 150 people listening to the proposals of experts in 3 keynote speeches and several panels related to the issues of the water resources. These experts coming from 12 institutions representing 12 academic institutions and national and international public bureaus. This event has been possible because of the kind invitation extended to us by INEGI to organize this event jointly in the program to get closer to institutions for higher education and research centers to tackle from the statistical perspective topics that have national relevance. It has been a very enriching experience, full of surprises for the organizing committee from both institutions. An example, our badges have a code bar that has helped us give you all these statistics that Mr. de Alba just mentioned, and how many people, after having registered, finally came to the event, how many people attended each panel. So there are the statistics on every activity of the INEGI. The second one, the professors from the university
whose study is the problem of water in the country and who are organized in the network of Water of UAM, specifically the work of Lilia Rodriguez, Jorge Morales, Eugenio Gomez, Abelardo González, and Roberto Constantino, all of them PhD, which has been the core for the organization of this event, and the coordinating committee, Ricardo Rodriguez, Miriam Garcia, Jesus Serrano, and from Juan, Alfonso Rios, and Ina Ruiz. And I believe that our communication specialists, the equipment, the team, INEGI WAM, the equipment for light and sound. The conference was a great success. I feel very happy and satisfied. A round of applause. Thank you all very much.